Hey guys, it's Andrea. It rained yesterday and it is super wet, and today was a day to get out here in the yard and do chores, but we're limited since it's super wet. But one thing we can do is get in these beds and get all the weeds out. This is a blueberry plant and they are just covered with weeds. I did put black plastic and mulch on these beds, but this bed right here and this bed over here are super bad. They are just kind of overrun. So we're gonna get out here today and try to get these weeded. This, I put black plastic down, so this is good. These two are rhubarb and they're doing pretty good. But then this is another area that needs to be weeded, and these are all blueberries. But the weeds are getting out of control and getting really big. So we're gonna get out here and pull all these weeds. I wish I could figure out a way to keep the weeds down out here, but it just doesn't really work that way. I've tried everything. I put black plastic, I put mulch. I guess we just need more mulch, but Daisy. There's Daisy. Daisy. Hi, Daisy. Had to put a fence up because they kept digging all these berries out of here. And he got my glove. Chewy. Chewy, what are you doing with my glove? Leave that alone. I gotta go get my glove from him and we'll get these weeds up. We just finished clearing out these beds out here. It took us a little while. Compared to earlier, we got all the weeds out. This is a marshmallow plant. They grow really pretty flowers. And then here's the blueberry plants. So will this stay like this? I'm not really sure. It's hard to keep up with this front area once the garden starts going. Usually we do this in the spring. We come out and we get all the weeds out, and then probably I won't touch it again, except for I might try to keep some of the bigger weeds out. But other than that, I probably won't major weed it again until for a month or maybe 2 months. It just depends on how busy I get in the garden. So here's the other bed that we did. It looks pretty good now. We didn't get every single weed. I mean, you can see there's still little things, but oh, there's a bee. So that's just usually what we do in the spring, and it helps the front yard to look better. I mean, there's still a bed over here. This whole bed over here is horrible with weeds. There's loganberry in there, and it creeps on the ground and it roots up everywhere, and so it's really hard to keep that weed free. I did put black plastic, like I said, on all these beds in the front yard when we first planted in them, but that is, I mean, it's still there, but it's long gone as far as being a weed preventative, and the mulch on top is completely, mostly decomposed, so it just doesn't keep those weeds down anymore. So the only thing we can do is come out here and weed it, and then try to keep the weeds down. I mean, if I have time, I'll come out here and do a couple of weeds. Sometimes I just can't keep up with this front area, so it just gets done in the spring, and then another time in a month or whenever I have time to come out here and do it. And then I do have flowers on both of my apple trees, so I am really hoping that I can get some apples this year. This tree has more flowers than the other one. And they do have to be cross-pollinated by a different apple tree, so those are two different kinds of apple trees. So hopefully the pollination works this year and I get a couple of apples. But that's what we've been up to today. And oh, there's one of my dogs. His name is Chewy. Chewy! What are you doing, Chewy? But like I was saying earlier, this is actually a path. This is a path right here. So what I was planning on doing was, once everything gets big enough that hopefully the dogs wouldn't mess with it, then I will take this fence down, because it's not exactly a pretty fence. They jump on it sometimes and it's all bent and out of shape. But it keeps them out of here, so that's what it's supposed to do. And hopefully someday I can take it down and the dogs will be able to come up here and they won't dig up all my plants. There's a pretty good bit of flowers on the blueberry plants. I was scared because there was a lot of frost coming, but last night I think was the last night that it's going to get down into the 30s. I'm hoping that we are on our way into warmer days when spring really starts warming up and plants can do their thing and produce their beautiful fruits. I wanted to give a little update on the grow tower and how it's doing since we planted it. There are some things that are coming up. Pretty sure that's maybe a little lettuce seeds. And then and I didn't write down where I planted everything, but we got some other little ones coming up here that are doing good. It rained really good last night, so it's nice and moist. And then there's not really much happening up on top here. I see one little plant right there, so we'll see. I'm pretty sure this is the nasturtium because I only planted 2 seeds in each hole. So I think that's the nasturtium. And I'm excited about that one. While we're out here today and doing weeds and stuff, we did this little, around this pecan tree right here. And I'm gonna plant all my flowers in here. So I'm just like going through and making some little like lines that I'm gonna try to put the seeds in. And what I always plant right here is zinnias. I love zinnias and they grow so good right here, tons of flowers. And I like to put them in vases in the house and I think they're really pretty to look at. So, but first I'm gonna put some smaller flowers kind of like around the outside, and then I'll put the zinnias because they get about this tall when I plant them right here, so I'm gonna put those there. And I also, because we used to live in Texas, and if anybody's ever been in Texas, they know it was just bluebonnet season, and I love bluebonnets, they're so pretty. And I know they bloom in the spring, but I mean, it's still spring right now. It says 60 days to bloom, so I'm gonna try and see if I can get some bluebonnets. The first thing I'm gonna put, and I'm gonna just kind of do it in the corner here, is I'm gonna put some nasturtium and some toothache plant, because these kind of stay a little bit lower. They don't get as tall. They kind of just get bushy. So I'm gonna try to put these around the outside, kind of in the corners. So I put the nasturtium on the corner, so now I'm gonna put the toothache plant along the very edge. So the next one I'm going to do is the bluebonnet. And I'm just going to kind of try to go along the edge where I put the toothache plant and plant these behind it. I've never seen bluebonnet seeds before. Those are an interesting seed. It looks like a little pebble. It looks like a rock. That is really interesting. I'm also gonna plop some in these cinder block holes over here. I'll just put the bluebonnets in there too. I'm just gonna do a couple in here. Okay, I got all the bluebonnets in there. And this plant back here, in the back right there, that is Queen Anne's lace. And I planted that last year, and a couple of them did flower, but not all of them. So I'm gonna leave those because they will probably flower this year. So I also want to put some German chamomile in here because I figured that would be pretty. But these are the zinnias that I got. I got the giant cactus mixed colors, the giant double flowered. I like the really big zinnias. Coral. That one is super pretty. And I got the salmon, which I think that's pretty much like this coral one. But they're about 80 days. Some of them are 70, some of them are 90. And then I also have some corn poppy seeds that my mother-in-law gave me, so I'm gonna plant those over here too and see if we can't get a good variety and mix of zinnias and flowers growing in here. And I'm just gonna make a little row, sprinkle it in, and then cover it. So I got all of my zinnia flowers and different kind of flowers that I wanted to plant in here planted. Get this. And there wasn't a lot of zinnia seeds in a lot of those packets, especially these cheap ones that I got. I probably got these at Walmart or something, but there was barely any seeds in this. So I'll probably have to buy some more seeds and come out and put more in, because I really like to fill this whole thing up with zinnias. We should be getting to where it's not getting too cold at night. It was in the 30s last night, but I looked at the weather for the next 2 weeks and it's not supposed to get down to freezing. And so that's why I thought it would be okay to plant these flowers. And we're getting really close to being able to plant all of our seeds, like tomatoes and peppers, in the garden. And one thing that I do, and I'm pretty adamant about, is that I grow everything from seed. I put it in the ground and grow it like that. So when I go to plant my tomatoes and peppers, I don't start them in a seed tray in the house. I just go ahead and plant them in the ground with the seed. And that's how I grow most of my garden. For me, it just works better that way, and it's not as much work for me. So that's why I didn't start any of these flowers in seed starting trays, because I like to just come out and plant them in the ground, keep them watered really well, and then let them grow that way so that they don't have to transplant. It doesn't slow them down at transplanting time. And also for me, it's just easier. It's one less step that I have to do. And I also don't have anywhere in my house to grow seed, or a place to even put grow lights and seed trays and things like that. My house doesn't have enough space with 4 kids to be able to put anything like that up. And so, sorry, it's super windy today, but that's just my reasoning for putting seeds in the ground instead of starting them in seed trays. And I know I will probably get harvests quicker in the season if I started earlier, but that's just kind of the kind of gardener that I am. I just put the seeds in the ground and let them do their thing. So I hope y'all enjoyed being outside with me today and seeing what we got done today. It's a beautiful sunny day, although super windy, but we got a lot done today, and we're waiting for that warm weather so that all of our seeds pop up and we can start seeing life again in the garden. I'll talk to you guys next time.